Welcome to Starbound, where every star tells a story. Have you ever imagined what lies beyond the map's edge, in the realms labeled as forbidden? Let's get into the story. Arnold leaned back in his threadbare command chair on the bridge of the Intrepid. A worn astrogation map spread before him. Its swirling nebulas and galactic clusters were standard fare, except for the ominous black circle crudely drawn over one seemingly unremarkable system. Warnings were scrawled in frantic red lettering. Forbidden zone. Abandon hope. Hope's a luxury we can't afford, Arnold muttered, his eyes never leaving the forbidding mark on the chart. Then, his weathered features cracked into a sly grin. This wasn't about danger or glory. It was about the hole burning in his gut ever since the Galactic Republic slapped its hands off this planet. Every vanished ship, every hushed rumor surrounding the place, it all fueled a defiant fire within him. If the galaxy was afraid, humanity would find a way forward. He keyed the ship's intercom. Marcy, prep the engines for blind jump. Max, rig that cobbled-together shielding contraption of yours and pray to whatever gods favor mad scientists. Petrov, prep the comms array. Might as well let the Republic know we're going where no sane soul dares venture. A courtesy of sorts. A chorus of groans, sarcastic salutes, and a few muttered curses echoed through the aged comm system. Arnold's crew wasn't your typical Galactic Republic-sanctioned exploratory team. They were the cast-offs, the brilliant minds too reckless or unorthodox for the official channels. But that was the key to the Intrepid, and the very heart of what made them human. They weren't content just looking at the map. They had to be the ones redrawing it. Captain, Marcy's voice, heavy with a mix of anticipation and nerves, crackled over the comms. Are you sure about this? The Republic ain't forbidding this world for fun. Even the Thoraxians gave it a wide berth, and they're usually up for anything that involves 6 legs and shiny tech. Arnold stood, tucking the threadbare map under his arm. Fun? Marcy, when was the last time exploring the galaxy was fun? It's dangerous, it's maddening, it's breaking every rule in the book, and that's precisely why only a human would be crazy enough to do it. With a wink and a final glance at the ominous mark on the astrogation chart, he strode off the bridge, leaving the echoes of his crew's preparations in his wake. The Intrepid hummed to life, and with a jolt, they were gone. Blind jumps were risky, even on the safest of routes. This one was a shot in the dark laced with a good dose of insanity. The Intrepid lurched into existence on the edge of the forbidden system, its creaky hull groaning in protest. Before them swirled a maelstrom of warped starlight and gravitational anomalies, a barrier as daunting as any black hole. Max, get me a reading, Arnold barked, ignoring the ship's jarring shutters. Max, a lanky engineer whose eyes always seemed wider than anyone's should be, scrambled across the bridge, his tangle of cables and wires almost tripping him. Reading what, sir? Readings aren't behaving, sir. Scanners picking up gibberish like the planets scrambling the signals themselves. Self-scrambling planets now, are there? Arnold chuckled, a nervous edge to it. All right, Max. Forget fancy tricks. I need eyes on it. Old-fashioned, out the viewport kind. Max pressed himself to the forward viewing port, his voice muffled. Captain, it's alive. The whole system. It's like one giant organism. Ripples, contractions, things shifting under the surface of space itself. Never seen anything like it. Arnold peered over Max's shoulder. What he saw wasn't a planet as he understood it. It was like a vast, bruised organ pulsing with some unseen life force. The very sight of it sent a chill down his spine, a cocktail of fear and awe most humans thrived on. Marcy, we're moving in. Max's contraption better pray harder. And keep a comms link open to the Republic. I'd hate for them to miss our grand disappearing act. It felt like they were crawling into the mouth of a cosmic beast, the Intrepid's experimental shields straining against forces meant to crush ships many times her size. The hull vibrated violently, lights flickered, and Petrov's frantic, garbled calls to the Galactic Republic sputtered over the comms. Arnold gripped his command chair, his knuckles white. This was it. The moment every explorer secretly hoped for, the chance to shove back the boundaries of the known universe, or to be obliterated into space dust trying. Either way, history was in the making. They breached the swirling barrier and chaos erupted. The bridge transformed into a symphony of flashing alarms and frantic shouts. Marcy's voice barely cut through the din. "Shields dropping rapidly. Something's eating through them, sir." "Compensate! Reroute power from non-essentials!" barked Arnold, even as he realized the futility of it. The Intrepid was a feisty little ship, but this was a whole new level of hostile. Max, however, was strangely calm. Amidst the cacophony, he stared at his instruments in wide-eyed fascination. "Captain, it's not that the shields are failing. They're changing. The planet, it's altering the physics of our tech." Arnold cursed under his breath. No shielding meant they were a juicy, defenseless morsel floating right above the jaws of this monstrous planet. But Max's words sparked an idea. Adaptation was a game humans played just as well as nature. "Petrov, forget the Republic. Hail me every frequency this ship has, broadcast on a loop. Our last will and testament, as it were." Petrov, ever the cynic, only paused in his paniquat tapping for a half-second before rasping out, "Got it, Cap. Better make it a good one." Arnold began barking orders, a crazy glint in his eyes. "Marcy, cut primary engines. Let's drift and give this beast a taste of us. Max, I want your scanner aimed straight at that planet, feeding every shred of data you can get from this encounter back into that patchwork shield rig of yours." His crew stared at him like he'd sprouted a second head, but the frantic gleam in their eyes told him they were as desperate, as crazy as he was. In moments like these, that was all that mattered. The Intrepid shuddered to a halt, adrift in the hostile energy currents surrounding the monstrous planet. And then, the waiting game began. Time warped and stretched aboard the Intrepid. Each second felt like a lifetime, each creak of the hull a potential death knell. The planet pulsed around them, its alien energies twisting the very light in strange, nauseating ways. Max's constant stream of technobabble was the only thing keeping Arnold sane. The planet, it's like a giant brain. Not just repelling scanners, it's reading ours, trying to figure us out. "Look here, Captain. See how the shield frequencies mirror this flux, this wave pattern." Petrov, meanwhile, continued his monotonous broadcast. Arnold's supposed last words, a mix of bold defiance, scientific observations, and a touch of dark humor, echoing endlessly into the uncaring void. At least someone was getting paid for this mess. Hours bled into a nightmare eternity. The ship drifted closer to the planet, its strange pull inexorable. Then, a shift. The oppressive energy storm around them calmed, not gradually, but like a switch being flipped. "Captain, it worked. Shields are, well, they're not shields anymore exactly, more like mimicry. The planet thinks we're part of it now." Max's voice trembled with a mix of excitement and terror. Arnold dared to hope. His brand of insanity always had a sliver of method to it. "Helm, unresponsive." Marcy's strained voice cut in. "We're still being pulled in." The monstrous planet loomed larger, its surface swirling with unidentifiable geographic features. They were being swallowed, but with the tiniest chance of passing as indigestion rather than a fatal infection. "Prep the landing pods," Arnold commanded, his voice surprisingly steady. "Max, keep that camouflage going. Petrov, one final hail to the Republic, change of plans. We're going down the rabbit hole alive." The landing was more of a controlled crash. The Intrepid, never meant for planetary re-entry, fought the violent pull with every ounce of Marcy's skill. But against the might of a sentient planet, their efforts were those of an ant defying a boot heel. One pod smashed into an outcropping of rock that glowed with a sickly bioluminescence. Another vanished into a swirling, fog-filled canyon. But Arnold's pod, along with a handful of others, made it through, scraping across a vast plain shimmering with mirrored lakes and crystalline growths. The pod shuddered to a halt, and silence fell, more oppressive than the chaos of the descent. Arnold unbuckled himself, the taste of recycled air thick on his tongue. He glanced at the small band of ragged survivors gathered around him, Max, eyes bloodshot but alight with manic curiosity. Marcy, sporting a nasty gash across her forehead, but she held a stare that would frighten a grown adult. Petrov, ever the picture of pessimism, slumped in a corner. "Well," Arnold announced, cracking a grin despite the dire situation, "at least we can tell the Republic what the inside of this hellhole looks like, assuming anyone survives to make the trip back." He pushed open the pod hatch, a wave of humid, unfamiliar air washing over him. The land stretched out, broken by bizarre twisting structures. Were they geological formations? Or something far more unsettling? Analysis equipment, he ordered Max. Petrov, get that comm rig set up. We've got a planet to broadcast to. The first readings confirmed their worst fears. The very atmosphere was reactive, shifting subtly in response to their presence, like a digestive enzyme. It wouldn't be long before their suits failed, or something far worse happened. Captain, Marcy said, her voice grim, I wouldn't count on heading home anytime soon. The Intrepid is... well, it's getting incorporated. Ship systems are merging with the planet itself. The news sent a jolt through the crew. The one lifeline they clung to was swiftly being consumed by the monstrous world around them. Fear clawed at their throats, but they were explorers, damn it. Even when cornered, a human found a way out, or made their own. Arnold rallied them. The Intrepid bought us time. Let's not waste it. Max, analyze the hell out of this atmosphere. It's fighting us, but maybe there's a pattern we can exploit. Marcy, survey the surroundings. Petrov, well, keep broadcasting. Even if no one's listening, it might keep us focused on something other than being swallowed alive. They scattered, each driven by a mix of desperation and a uniquely human defiance. Max retreated into a world of atmospheric formulas and complex equations, muttering to himself under the watchful gaze of bulbous, crystalline plants that seemed to pulse in response to his frantic notes. Marcy practiced eye fixed to her scanner, tracked bizarre seismic activity, its patterns less like natural shifts and more like directed movement. Petrov, in a surprising twist, found that his transmission wasn't just fading into the void. Something was responding. Faint, garbled echoes on the very edge of perception. Not the Republic, but something else out there amidst the stars, drawn to the beacon of their impossible struggle. Night fell. The shimmering landscape transformed into a kaleidoscope of bioluminescence, both beautiful and terrifying. Creatures, their forms defying imagination, emerged from shimmering hollows and glowing crevices. They observed the humans with cautious curiosity, some even displaying rudimentary attempts at mimicry, mimicking the flickering of Petrov's signal lights or Max's hurried scribbling. Arnold, watching from the remnants of his pod, felt a flicker of something beyond panic. These weren't just animals. They were intelligent, and amidst the strangeness, he saw something familiar, a desire to understand, a reflection of humanity's own thirst for knowledge. He realized then the planet itself wasn't the final threat. It was simply a vessel, a force of nature shaped by a deeper intelligence. The days and nights blurred together. Survival became a relentless dance between the hostile environment and their own dwindling supplies. Max discovered loopholes, strange atmospheric pockets where suit filtration systems could briefly recharge, edible compounds hidden within the bioluminescent flora. Marcy's surveys led them to caves shielded from the harshest planetary defenses, granting precious moments of respite. Even Petrov's broadcast began to yield results. The replies grew clearer, a tentative conversation taking shape between their ragtag band and an unknown alien presence in the depths of space. It was this glimmer of connection that kept them sane. Humanity, Arnold realized, wasn't just about audacity and exploration. It was finding the points of common ground, even amidst the most alien of circumstances. Then came the breakthrough. Max, on the verge of collapse and fueled by a delirious cocktail of stim rations, burst from his makeshift lab. Captain, it's not just reacting, it's learning. This planet, the creatures, this whole system, it mimics. Slowly, but it builds on what it has, what it encounters. A surge of adrenaline shot through Arnold. Mimicry, adaptation. This wasn't a monster set on destroying them. It was a terrified ancient intelligence desperately lashing out at anything unknown. The countless vanished ships weren't devoured. They were absorbed, their technology and knowledge woven into this planet-sized network. Can we exploit this? Arnold pressed, the old familiar thrill of pushing boundaries rising within him. Max sagged, exhaustion threatening to overwhelm him, but his eyes burned with a manic light. Maybe, if we feed it, not force, not attack, but an offering. Technology it doesn't have, ideas it's never encountered. Maybe it'll stop seeing us as a threat to be neutralized. It was the craziest gambit they had, playing on the very trait that made this world so terrifying. But a cornered human thrives on crazy, They set about dismantling the Intrepid's remaining systems, not for salvage, but as a gift. Communications arrays, power cores, remnants of shielding tech, laid out like a bizarre offering in the shimmering wasteland. And they waited. At first, nothing. The planet churned on, seemingly indifferent to their meager tribute. Hope flickered and died a dozen times a day. Then, almost too subtle to notice, a change. The seismic tremors eased, the atmosphere growing subtly less reactive. It was as if the monstrous planet was tentatively relaxing its stranglehold on them. Petrov's corner grew into a hive of frantic activity. The unknown contact, now clearer than ever, wasn't just responding. They were eager, almost hungry, not for destruction, but for knowledge, for understanding. Petrov relayed stories and history, galactic politics, even snippets of philosophy and literature. His monotonous broadcast transformed into an eager symposium. In turn, they received fragments, images of a vast, ancient civilization now crumbling to dust, their remnants entombed beneath the planet's surface. Whispers of a forgotten enemy, a cosmic threat so terrible it drove this intelligence to near madness with the need for self-preservation. Their understanding of the planet shifted. It wasn't a monster. It was a tomb, a fortress, a living testament to a battle so vast it spanned not planets, but epochs. And they, the reckless humans with their patched-up ship and wild audacity, were the first in eons to offer not a sword, but an outstretched hand. Marcy, ever the practical one, voiced the hard truth. We can't stay, even with the planet backing off. We're on borrowed time. This atmosphere will still kill us, eventually. Bitterness mingled with the relief in her voice. Yet, Arnold knew there was another way. We can't stay, he agreed, but that doesn't mean we have to leave. He turned to Max, whose sleepless frenzy had subsided into a thoughtful, calculating focus. Could we replicate what the planet does? Not change our tech, but make it part of this system? Integrate, rather than adapt? The question sent a jolt of possibility through Max. He stared at the remnants of the Intrepid, the strange creeping tendrils of the planet entwining its once gleaming hull. It was no longer a clash, but a twisted kind of symbiosis. Replicate it? Maybe not the way the planet does, but with what we've learned, those pockets of stability, the rhythms of this system, we could jury-rig our suits, not just hold out against the atmosphere, but become a part of it. Crudely, but enough to function long-term. It was madness, the kind of scheme that earned humans their infamous reputation, and yet the alternative was retreating, admitting defeat. No true explorer could stomach that. They worked with newfound purpose and terrifying haste, cannibalizing the last of their tech fueled by the knowledge Petrov gleaned from their alien listeners. They twisted the concept of environment suits inside out. By the time the first tendrils of the planet's reactive atmosphere began to curl around their makeshift workshop, they were ready. It wasn't pretty or comfortable. Their new suits were grotesque hybrids of human tech and scavenged organic material, pulsating with energy leaching off the planet itself, crackling with barely contained feedback. Each breath was a gamble, yet it worked. Arnold was the first to step out, transformed. The air seared his lungs, yet he breathed. The landscape shimmered and warped, yet he remained. He'd become something other, not human, not alien, but a testament to the relentless adaptability of humanity. One by one, his crew emerged, stunned, terrified, alive. Petrov, ever the voice of reason amidst the chaos, stared in horror at the pulsating sack of fungus strapped to his back. Yet, when his comm rig crackled to life, it was with a newfound clarity. The alien voices weren't just observers now, they were collaborators, sharing knowledge, technology, desperate plans for a defense not against the invaders their world-sized guardian had long feared, but against the slow death of age and isolation. The boundaries blurred. Human and planet, tech and organic, survival and defiance, they all began to merge. The planet they once sought to conquer became a new frontier, a harrowing, breathtaking challenge to be met the only way humans ever could, with a reckless leap into the unknown. The transformation was slow, agonizing, and utterly miraculous. They carved out an existence within the depths of the living planet, delving into its crystalline caverns and pulsating bioluminescent forests. The ancient ruins of the lost civilization revealed secrets both terrifying and tantalizing, whispers of a technology that could reshape the fabric of the galaxy itself, a power sought by the unseen cosmic threat. Arnold found himself no longer the captain of a starship, but the leader of a bizarre, interspecies commune. Humans, guided by the planet's ancient knowledge, forged tools of gleaming metal and organic energy matrices. The planet-born creatures, inspired by human ingenuity, developed crude mimicries of their communicators, their bioluminescent displays forming patterns mimicking the flow of conversation. And through it all thrummed the constant chatter of Petrov's broadcasts, a beacon not just to the Galactic Republic, but to those eager, unknown allies responding from across the vast expanse. One night, under a sky forever hidden by the planet's defenses, Arnold found Marcy amidst the half-repaired ruins of the Intrepid. She stared not at the distant stars, but at the network of veins running through her own arm, the planet's energy subtly altering her on a cellular level. "We can't stay here forever," she said quietly. "This place will change us. Too much. We'll become something else." Arnold knew she was right. The planet was a crucible, forging something new from the fragments of humanity who had dared enter its domain. But he also knew there would always be those drawn to this terrifying wonder, those desperate enough, audacious enough, to embrace the change. "But we can leave a piece of ourselves here," he replied. "A warning, a welcome." He gathered his crew, their bodies a patchwork of human and alien, their minds thrumming with knowledge that could frighten the galaxy. Together they used the last of their tech, the planet's organic resources, and the ancient secrets they'd unearthed to build a new beacon. Not of distress, but of invitation. They carved a message into the unyielding bedrock. Only humans dare explore this planet. It was a promise, a challenge, and a testament to the undying spirit that drove their kind ever outwards, ever into the unknown. And then, it was time to go home. Intrepid, no longer the ship they arrived on, changed the half-planet, half-ship hybrid, but functional. Their departure wasn't a clean break, but a lingering goodbye. They left behind volunteers, scientists eager to embrace the planet's harsh beauty, explorers hungry for the secrets still buried deep within, a testament to the undeniable truth. While Arnold had brought humanity to this alien world, the planet left its mark on them as well. The return journey wasn't through blind jumps and desperate gambits. Guided by their alien allies and utilizing fragments of the lost civilization's tech, they charted a path through previously unexplored sectors. It was slow, methodical, the very antithesis of the reckless plunge that brought them here. But it was safer, and that was a kind of progress Arnold hadn't envisioned at the outset. News of their survival preceded them. Petrov's constant broadcasts had been picked up, relayed, dissected across the Republic. What arrived at the edge of known space wasn't a broken crew aboard a barely functional ship, but a delegation representatives of a new alliance, bearing knowledge that could reshape the balance of galactic power. There were fear-mongers, of course, whispers that they weren't human anymore, tainted by their time on the Forbidden Planet. But amidst the skepticism was an undercurrent of awe, of excitement. The Galactic Republic, for all its rules and protocols, couldn't deny the allure of the unknown, especially when it came with tangible benefits. Arnold stood before the assembled council, his crew beside him, a motley collection of gleaming tech and grotesque organic additions. He recounted their story, not as a horror tale, but a testament to the human spirit. The debate raged, fear of the unknown versus boundless curiosity. The potential threats brought by these newfound technologies against the equally real threat lingering in the depths of space. In the end, a decision worthy of the vast, complex, and maddeningly slow bureaucracy of the Galactic Republic was announced. A strictly limited, closely monitored expedition to the Forbidden Planet. It was far from the open invitation Arnold had first dreamt of, yet it was something. They had cracked open the door, and true humans always found a way to kick it wide. As the first wave of scientists, explorers, and undoubtedly a few thrill-seeking fools cautiously followed their path, Arnold knew his crew's legacy was secure. The Intrepid, now more living organism than ship, returned to become a permanent outpost on the planet's surface. And Arnold himself? He took to the stars once more, older, wiser, and forever marked by his journey. There were other worlds out there calling, other enigmas to be solved, and while only humans would dare to explore them, perhaps now, they wouldn't be quite so alone in their endeavors.